How's everyone doing? It's Andy. For my project, I read the Cherokee Stories of the Turtle Island Liars Club. It explores how Cherokee culture is expressed through the art of storytelling and offers a window into their worldview. I'm going to give you a smaller, condensed version, so hopefully this will be about 5 or 6 minutes. I know you have a lot of these to read and watch, so before we start, I think it's important to note that I am from Oklahoma and I've lived in the Cherokee Nation previously, but now live about a couple hours away. I'm partially Cherokee, but I'm not card carrying, and as we'll discuss later, that is not as big of a factor for tribal community as one might think. This book is about a small group of Cherokee elders meeting and sharing their stories with the author. These are some of their biggest takeaways. The first portion of the book deals with origin stories and is reflective of Cherokee cosmology and etymology. Each version of the legend is subjective. They are passed down through the generations and vary across different areas. One of the members states that, quote, "There's no end. This is the journey that the Cherokees followed as a tribe and as individuals," end quote. The life cycle does not end in Cherokee religion. It keeps going, but in different forms until eventually reaching the Creator. Storytelling is the highest form of art for Cherokees because it emphasizes relationships and communal growth. To briefly go over the most widely accepted origin story, it begins with 7 sisters in the Pleiades star system. At this time, everyone lived in the stars. One of the sisters, the Dark One, felt bad for how Indian people were mistreated, so she brought them to Earth, or Elohi as it is called in Cherokee. The other sisters punished the sister that brought the Indians to Elohi, and now she is hard to see in the Pleiades star system, hidden behind clouds, and that is why she is called the Dark One. Later, the sons of the Creator came and lived with the women of Elohi, and their offspring became the first medicine people. Variations of this legend exist, and discussion is what leads individuals to their own take on this particular legend. The next portion goes over the movements in Cherokee culture, more specifically, maturation, teachers, and equality. A sense of belonging is key to the community. Learning is constant throughout life. The Spirit is the ultimate teacher, similar to how the Holy Spirit works in Christianity. It guides Cherokees and continually teaches them. A big aspect of the book is the desire to learn. That is one of the core tenets of being Cherokee, wanting to partake in tradition and culture. It is widely accepted that Cherokees are supposed to live off only what they need to, and to help all their neighbors in need, furthering communal sharing and caring. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that Native Americans' racial purity is defined by how much percentage of Indian blood that they have. One of the members said, quote, "It's a racist question because it implies that Cherokees are defined by race and not by culture." That's really encouraging for people who feel like they might have some Native American lineage. It is about culture and not just bloodlines. If you're willing to learn, partake in the culture, and serve your community, then there's a place for you in the Cherokee Nation. Storytelling again proves to be a vital aspect of belonging and also learning. The third facet of the book examines teaching methods used for younger generations. Bringing up new generations traditionally is becoming harder and harder in today's society. However, there are still many ways to instill the Cherokee culture through storytelling. Elders typically do the storytelling, and that can be anyone with wisdom or life experience. Most of these stories are told in a format most similar to a fable, typically involving animals interacting with each other or with humans, but ending in a takeaway that offers insight into Cherokee morality. Interpretation is completely subjective. Quote, "We may take the same steps, the same length of steps. We may breathe the same air, but we're going to do things different when we go down that road," end quote. Those stories are relative. The culture encourages that. Cherokees believe that people have their own relationship with nature and the world, so these stories offer insight for each personal journey. These stories help outsiders understand a relativistic worldview of the Cherokee and are the basis of discussion and gatherings. The final portion explores the wondrous, or more cosmological concerns in Cherokee society. The Cherokees' relationship is their own, completely unique, but all moving towards the same goal, meeting the Creator. When one dies, their body is transformed and continues in a new form, all striving towards the Creator. The most fascinating part of this final portion are the similarities to the biblical Old Testament. Kanati and Selu, the first man and woman, are very similar to Adam and Eve. The way that the monster Spearfinger is cast into the pit forever mirrors that of Satan being cast into eternal fire. There are many other similarities, especially in the creation and origin stories. The Liars Club shows these similarities, yet also explains the differences which ultimately led to the persecutions from the Europeans. Quote, "When the Europeans first saw us dancing around the fire, they thought we were worshiping Satan, because that's their concept. But to us, the fire is a gift from the Creator. There was no meanness involved about it." End quote. Though there are differences, these stories again offer more insight into the Cherokee worldview and how we might begin the process of reconciling. Another scholar, Timothy B. Powell, works at the University of Georgia and works on digitizing all previous works by the Cherokee for further use. Though he loves storytelling and believes in its power, he wants to archive as much as he can and hopes that nothing will be lost. He says, quote, "I realize that the Cherokee adoption of older forms of Mississippian culture, such as building mounds, Sequoia's invention of the syllabary, and the tribe's use of the printing press constituted ingenious ways of incorporating new technology. I struggle to help my students understand that the Cherokee have been incorporating new technology for hundreds of years, and that digitizing this material was not necessarily Eurocentric, but if we did it thoughtfully and with the cooperation of the Cherokee, could be seen as part of the continuum of Cherokee history." End quote. Digitizing the stories and documents will help preserve the culture and even keep the trend of Cherokee innovation. This will make accessing the tribe even easier than ever before, connecting elders with those who want to learn faster and more often. In my opinion, I sympathize with this book quite a lot. It really is a gift to be able to see the Cherokee people through their own eyes instead of through a white American lens. I am from Oklahoma and live near the reservation, but I don't know what amount of blood I am. But if there's one thing that this book has confirmed, it's that blood doesn't matter as much as you think. It is the engagement with the community. If you are not sure if you have Indian heritage or speculate that you might have some ancestry in the tribe, I highly encourage you to investigate and really learn more about your lineage. Interacting with the Cherokee tribe through this book has answered a lot of questions and is a great starting point for anyone wanting to learn more. That is the basis of this book. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you finish out your semester strong. I will see you in the fall.